If you are still fighting reality, still begging life to be softer, this is not for you. Leave now. You feel it. The quiet fracture inside your chest. Not loud, not dramatic, persistent. One part of you wants to remain open, human, receptive. The other part, it knows armor is required, teeth, distance. And the world does not slow down to accommodate your confusion. It pulls harder, speaks louder, demands more, signals everywhere, outrage, urgency, compliance disguised as morality. This tearing you feel is not weakness. It is the moment before transformation. Most men never pass it. They freeze at the threshold. They choose a side. They harden and become cold, efficient but hollow. Or they soften and become overwhelmed, empathetic but powerless. Both paths end the same way, fragmented, reactive, consumed. The samurai chose a third position. To understand it, you must look beyond comfort, beyond modern noise, to a man who lived inside reality without flinching. Miyamoto Musashi. He fought more than 60 life-or-death duels and never lost. Yet his first rule had nothing to do with violence, nothing to do with technique, nothing to do with the sword. In his final days, living alone in a cave, he wrote one opening law. Accept everything just the way it is. Not approval, not resignation, acceptance. Because resistance is what drains you. Resistance is what fries the nervous system. Resistance is what turns movement into panic, change into anxiety, uncertainty into paralysis. You are not overwhelmed by life. You are exhausted from arguing with it. A river does not panic when the terrain shifts. It does not moralize the obstacle. It does not negotiate with the rock. It flows over, around, through. A predator does not curse the storm. It uses the wind to hide its approach. You, however, you replay what should have happened. You fantasize about fairness. You fight ghosts at night instead of mastering the terrain in front of you. This is the fracture. Musashi understood something modern minds have forgotten. Calm is not a feeling. Calm is a position of power. The samurai mind does not demand comfort. It demands clarity. And clarity begins when you stop flinching from what is. Your anxiety is not caused by chaos. It is caused by a faulty map. Inside your mind is a blueprint of how the world should operate. Predictable, fair, safe. But the territory you are walking is indifferent, unstable, often hostile. The friction between the map and the terrain is what you call stress. You want certainty in an uncertain system, control in an environment that rewards adaptability, validation in a battlefield that only respects outcomes. This mismatch creates noise. Musashi eliminated noise by eliminating resistance. On Gonryu Island, facing Sasaki Kojiro, Musashi arrived late, unwashed, disrespectful, holding a wooden sword carved from an oar. Kojiro burned with rage, rigid, offended, emotional. Musashi accepted the reality of his opponent's expectations and used them as a weapon. He did not fight the man. He fought the mind. The rigid branch breaks. Acceptance is not passive. It is surgical. When you accept reality fully, emotion loses command authority. Fantasy falls away. Only terrain remains. And once you see the terrain clearly, you move with precision. This is where vulnerability and toughness stop fighting. Vulnerability without structure becomes fragility. Toughness without awareness becomes rigidity. The samurai mind is flexible steel, bendable, unbreakable. Now listen carefully. If you want this mind, you must live by 3 codes. The first code, update the map. Stop asking why this is happening to you. That question weakens you. Ask instead, what does this situation demand from me? The moment you ask that, sovereignty returns. As long as you complain about the rain, you are soaked and useless. The moment you accept it, you can build shelter, move, or wait. Choice reappears. Musashi trained himself to stand in the void. The void is not emptiness. It is the space between impulse and action. That space is where calm lives. Most people never enter it. They react instantly, insulted, retaliate, delayed, rage, disrupted, collapse. They defend ego, protect comfort, chase relief, slaves to circumstance. The samurai waits, not from fear, from mastery. You feel torn because you are protecting an identity that no longer fits the terrain. The world does not care who you were. It responds only to who you are becoming. Acceptance is how the old skin dies. No drama, no resistance. Observation, then response. The second code, observation without commentary. Musashi trained himself to accept hunger, fatigue, isolation, uncertainty, not to glorify suffering, but to remove its leverage. What you practice accepting stops controlling you. Expose yourself to reality without narration. When chaos strikes, your mind immediately tells a story. Unfair, personal, catastrophic. That story is the noise. Cut it. Ask only, what is happening? What is required? What is the cleanest action? Anxiety feeds on interpretation. Calm feeds on perception. You don't need more toughness. You need more silence. Silence is not emptiness. It is readiness. Musashi called this mushin, no mind. Thoughts still arise, but they do not stick, like water reflecting the moon, without trying to grasp it. The samurai enters conflict empty, so the moment can fill him completely. Softness and strength are not identities. They are tools. Sometimes the situation demands open hands. Sometimes it demands armor. If you only have one, you are broken. If you have both, and timing, you are whole. The third code, act without urgency. Urgency is fear wearing the mask of action. It rushes, it fumbles, it leaves damage behind. Decisiveness is clarity moving through the body. When you accept reality, you stop trying to emotionally rewrite it. You move within it, tactically. This is when calm becomes dangerous. People feel it immediately. The room shifts when you enter, not because you are loud, but because you are unmoved. In a world of boys performing masculinity through noise, the quiet man becomes the signal. You adapt faster, recover quicker, strike cleaner when necessary. This is Musashi's inheritance, balance through acceptance, adaptability through clarity, resilience through non-resistance. He died peacefully after a life of violence. He found stillness. He did not conquer the world. He conquered the inner battlefield. You don't defeat the storm. You become fluent in it. And when life shifts again, as it always will, you will not fracture. You will adjust your stance, steady your breath, and move without noise. The samurai mind does not beg for peace. It creates it by refusing to fight what already is. Stand in reality without flinching, and nothing inside you remains fragile. Silence becomes your fortress. Clarity becomes your blade. The path is open. Accept what is. Move without noise, and become the calm that chaos cannot break.